Hello and welcome to the Islamic Finance Weekly, where we discuss key developments in the non-interest finance market. Establishing an Islamic social financial system could play a key role in helping to achieve the twin development objectives of ending extreme poverty and promoting shared prosperity. In Nigeria, currently the poverty rate, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, is over 40%, which means 95.7 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line. This has been a catalyst to the current social unrest and spate of insecurity in the country. The Islamic social enterprise segment has received relatively little coverage compared to the Western form of entrepreneurship. Looking at the social problems facing humanity and some of the best ways to address the challenges. Today on the Islamic Finance Weekly, we will be looking at Islamic social finance and economic stability in Nigeria. Joining me virtually for this conversation is Souliyat Damilola SODJETE. She is the head of financial and Shariah advisory at Mabu Capital Limited. Good morning, Souliyat. Thank you for coming on the Islamic Finance Weekly.
Good morning, Bukola. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for coming on the program once again.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. So to begin the conversation, a lot has been said about Islamic finance on ways it is supporting humanity. And we've seen that the $2.2 trillion Islamic finance industry is projected to grow by 10% in the period of 2022 to 2023. Tell us how Islamic finance has supported social entrepreneurship for shared prosperity in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you for that question. So, the growth of Islamic finance projected from 2022 and 2023, I think is actually very reserved, because if things are done right, it should be more than that, because we have seen from Jais Bank, we have now Taj Bank, we have Lotus Bank. There are more and more full-fledged Islamic banks that are coming into the Nigerian market. We have also capital market players we have more Sukuk issuances happening. And the part that I'm even more interested in is microfinance that are coming into the market that even most people don't know about it yet. We have the likes of the NEET that is based in Kaduna, and what they do, which touches this question, is how they help micro companies like all these ladies that are in the market get appliances that they need to sell, like working capital financing. They do it like in a plain Muraba way. They just purchase it from the suppliers and they deliver it to these ladies that pay later. You know, it helps these ladies that don't have the capacity to go to the bank to actually meet their demand. And this company, I think...
Okay, so you mean the microfinance, but the Islamic microfinance borrowed in the market women money for them to establish their market, to grow their business?
Okay. Yeah, what they do is they help them meet their working capital needs by helping them purchase the inventory they need, and they sell it to them at a cost plus profit but deferred payment. So they are able to meet their demand needs while relying on this working capital. We have the likes of Al Baraka Microfinance too, that is also helping by giving Code Hassan to small loans. That's like, I'm starting with the micro aspect of it. Then we now go to these banks. They all have Murabaha and Jara asset financing for the SMEs. So you can't say that you are a Muslim that owns a business in this Nigeria. You say, I can't get help from an Islamic bank to grow my business. There are a lot of financing instruments that are available in the market. And if you also go to like growing companies right now, you can go to the market and issue a Sukuk. Even if you can't go to the public, Marble Capital has helped not one but two or not even three companies raise financing to the private market to meet their financing needs and grow their business and be able to create more jobs and make themselves relevant and, you know, have that ripple effect by helping other people. So I don't know if you know this, but Marble Capital was the one that structured the first green Sukuk in Africa. by helping One Solar raise money, and One Solar was creating jobs for company with that issuance. So the fact that Islamic finance touches the economic aspect of things makes the shared prosperity aspect grow faster than imagined, compared to the conventional side that is just interest accrued, and is making people poorer than they are.
The Islamic financial model presents itself as an ethical and sustainable alternative based on profit and loss sharing. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective with us on how Islamic finance will position itself in supporting humanity. My question is, how can Islamic social enterprises be repositioned to serve the excluded and vulnerable population in Nigeria?
I feel like the Islamic social finance right now in Nigeria is quasi in existence. Like it's not being used to its potential, right? Because Nigeria has a population of around 200 million, and we have like at least 50% being Muslim. Yeah, so the first Islamic social finance instrument, the most important one, which is zakat, is not even being used the way it's supposed to be used. Because in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when zakat was used the right way, we could see that there was nobody to collect zakat. Like it was that good. Like, so what I understand what Nigerian regulators are facing. They cannot say they are establishing a ministry for zakat collection. Like people are going to say that
zakat payment is not well structured in Nigeria.
It's not well structured. So if you restructure zakat collection and redistribution, that just starting, because zakat is the tool that is the number one tool that is meant to tackle poverty issue. So I think my final year paper was on that, but although I was focusing on the Benin market, but then I think it's something that can easily be done in Nigeria by the Muslims coming together, not by creating a ministry or something, but an organization that is established. Like, okay, we have the Moon Sighting organization that has been given the go-ahead by the government, right? We can have something like that for this, let's say the social finance arm, because at the end of the day, maybe zakat, wakaf, sadaqat, when there is no check and balance, how sure are you that the money is really used the way it's supposed to be used? Is it really being given? We have organizations existing in Nigeria right now, like NGOs collecting zakat and sadaqah and distributing it, but who is doing the check and balance? There is nobody there. So if there is a body created by the Muslims, maybe the ulamas and maybe one or two people from the finance background or so, to be like to assist to such organization to oversee the social finance aspect of the Islamic finance, because it does have a lot of potential to address all these issues of poverty alleviation by regulating zakat and institutionalizing zakat. We could see that poverty alleviation will start obviously from the Muslim, but we have a ripple effect. There's no way a Muslim's life will get better that it will not affect the whole Nigerian ecosystem. And yeah, we have to also find a way to embed wakaf in the capital market, because okay, now we are having a growing number of Islamic banks and Sukuks and capital market players, but when you are operating in a secular system, right, there's no way you will avoid non-Sharia compliant income totally. But what is done with that money? That money should be channeled into a proper charity. I think wakaf is one of the ways now we can have a cash wakaf system that is built, that is embedded. You can have a wakaf market or so. You collect all those CSR, you collect them, and you create a chain that you can actually link wakaf to Qad Hassan, and wakaf will be the way to collect the money, and then who Qad Hassan distributes to those that are in need and tackle all those poverty issues. So what else? Takaful too can be used. We can start with Takaful is actually also a social finance instrument. We can start with micro Takaful through a corporation to small people together, help them come up, or help all those ladies that don't, I would still call them ladies in the market, that don't have the strength or they don't even understand what Takaful is. Come up with a micro Takaful system, help them secure their businesses. Like that's one of the things that we can do to reposition Islamic social finance in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we have Qard Hasan, Wakaf, Zakat, and SODJETE.
So apart from Zakat, Waqf, Qard Hasan, Micro Takafu, what are other sustainable models that can be adopted for inclusive economic development?
Okay, so well, Islamic finance is clear. Islam is clear. So what I just cited, Qard Hasan, Waqaf, SODJETE, Takafu, those are the instruments that have been given to us. And in what we say in Islamic finance, when it comes to muamalat, everything is permissible apart from what has been clearly forbidden, right? So we use these instruments. We find a way to be creative about it. There are instruments such as blockchain now that we can use to see how to combine, if it's going to be combining Wakaf to Sukuk. We have I think there are research being done on Wakaf linked Sukuk, right? And we can use that and make it on there is an instrument being used in Malaysia by a company called Fintera. They call it Wakaf Chain. So they are using Wakaf and blockchain to collect money, and it creates a lot of transparency. That's our innovative ways now. We have the plain vanilla instruments, but we can also be innovative about how we put it out there and how to take more advantage of them, how to empower their markets, their objective with the technology.
Still on the Islamic finance instrument called Qard Hasan, it is an interest-free loan, as you explained, and this can be offered to individuals and businesses. Even Waqf that you talk about can be used for funded properties that can waive rental fees to ease the burden of the tenant. Can you provide further insight on how this instrument can be leveraged in Nigeria?
Okay. How they can be leveraged is in Nigeria, we're already on the right path when you already have the light of it. But again, a proper regulation will help. But if we combine Qard Hasan and Wakaf, as I explained earlier, I think we have a good model that can address the lease issue. The lands are existing. We can lease them to farmers that don't have, we provide them with Qard Hasan to get the fertilizer they need and to get the machines they need and give them training. You can also raise money through cash Wakaf to fund the training. Use that, and the lease will be for free or at minimal, because at the end of the day, Wakaf has to be sustainable. It has to be like perpetual. So the beginning might be like, okay, small, but eventually we can do a Ijara Multi-Habitat League, which is a lease to own model with them, so that you help those farmers be sustainable. Or what can also be done, use cash Wakaf. The Wakaf lands are existing. I know there are Wakaf lands in Sokoto, in the north of Nigeria and the likes. You can use them and build something and have some shops or some outlets that can be rented out to artisans. And with Qard Hasan, give them loan to buy the equipment, or like what NIT is doing, just use a simple murabaha, help them. If it's a tailor, help them get their machine and they will pay you back and everything. So it's just all about being creative with what we already have and having proper regulations and check and balance. Yeah.
Let's look at Sukuk. Share with us how government issued Sukuk can be used as financing tools for the healthcare industry. Let's look at how Sukuk can be used to finance healthcare industry in Nigeria, as well as other social initiatives, including feeding the hungry, improving clean water access, and disseminating primary education.
Okay, so when it comes to the healthcare itself, right, the government should know what its ministry needs or what are needed in
Sukuk has been used for funding road rehabilitation in Nigeria.
Yes,
so how can it be used for healthcare system in Nigeria?
It can also be used to fund the health. It's not just for road. it cannot, and also they have only been using Ijawa so far. You can use Kisa to purchase the equipment, the medical equipment that are needed in the ministry or in the how they call them, the hospitals, and you can, and then they can pay back. And what Musharaka Mutanakisa does is like shared ownership, and eventually they sell the assets to the ministry. They can do things like that. We cannot, because at the end of the day, it's the government that is the in the forefront of what the government does. That's what everybody else wants to do. And you will notice in the market now, everybody wants to do Ijara. And there are other things that can be done. So once the government, they can do this, use the to do the healthcare. And one thing they can also do, partner with UN. So because if you note in Indonesia now, I think they have a partnership with UN for zakat collection and refund and redistribution to address all this poverty issue. Because you have to use each instrument for what it's meant for. Sukuk is for corporate. Sukuk is for corporate. Islamic banking is for companies. But poverty alleviation is a social finance, and the number one instrument is zakat. Is zakat. So we have to use each instrument for what. And UN is there to also alleviate poverty. There's the SDG, and the Nigerian government is trying to apply the SDGs in what they are doing, right? So they can come together. And there are a lot of funding available, and there is one initiative done by the UN, I think the World Food Organization. They have a blockchain system that they are using to collect charity and redistribute it to the poor. I think they also use zakat during Ramadan to do such things. So Nigeria can also come on those platforms to address their poverty issues and tap into the existing funds.
What are the specific challenges faced in applying the mechanism of Islamic social financing in Nigeria?
The number one issue is regulations. There's the regulatory challenges. We don't have any regulations tackling social finance in Nigeria. So I can wake up today and say I'm opening an NGO for social finance. That's what I'm saying. So there's no regulation. So it makes it easier to invest money. So it doesn't solve the problem. It makes it worse. And there's because there's social compliance, there's minimal transparency, there's no check and balance. So once I'll go back to we use how they call it, technology to come up with we have regulators coming in by setting up a body like I advised earlier, which will be like maybe a regulatory body for the Islamic nation, let me call it the Islamic, the ulama and the ummah of Nigeria, and come up with a check and balance system for the social finance aspect of the business. And also the CSR, the non-Shariah compliant income, find a way to trace them and use them in the right way. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to having a proper structure. So there's a lack of structure. So, and if there's nobody that is holding people accountable, there's nothing that can be done. So yeah, number one issue is regulatory challenge and lack of transparency and using technology.
Talking about regulatory challenges, what are the solutions to it?
Yeah, that's what I've actually talked about this solution when I was talking about the problem. Coming up with a body. The Ummah should rise up and appoint ulamas, knowledgeable people in Islamic finance, because it's not the person that knows fiqh that knows Islamic finance. So appoint knowledgeable people in Islamic finance and make like a how they call it. In Indonesia, for instance, we have what they call Basnas, which is the body that regulates all Islamic issues in Indonesia, and they have a branch for Islamic social finance and everything. In Malaysia, we have Jakim. So Nigeria, and then although Malaysia is a Muslim country, but it's also embedded with other cultures, right? So how far are they from Nigeria? Nigeria can also copy from, when there's already an existing system, it's easier to copy how it's done. What we just need, we have a lot of leaders that are Muslims, we have a lot of prominent, and there are a lot of organizations out there for Muslims. I think there's one called the Group of Muslim professionals and stuff like that. Those organizations, we have NASFAT, we have, those organizations can come together. We are one at the end of the day. If you are Sunnah, whatever, at the end of the day, we are all Muslims. Come together, create a body, and with all the great minds that are Muslims in Nigeria, we can come up with solutions to tackle all these transparency issues and the likes, and create appropriate technologies to fix the social finance issues in Nigeria by applying Islamic finance, of course.
Definitely, the goal of Islamic social finance is to reduce poverty and increase the standard living of people. Thank you so much, Damilola, for sharing your perspective with us on the Islamic Finance Weekly. And we hope to feature you subsequently on the program. Alaikum salam. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Connect with us on poshare.co to watch the Islamic Finance Weekly video. Follow us on all our social media platforms displaying on the screen. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.